Hey guys, ShadowRock bringing you another update on Mega Man 0 and ZX Legacy Collection and the first 4 figures Mega Man 11 statue. Talking about the collection first, Siliconera got to sit down with Mega Man series producer Kazuhiro Tsuchiya himself to talk about the collection in an interview covering many different topics, such as development, features, and even about the delay. If you want to check out the full interview for yourself, it will be in the description below. Unlike the Battle Network interview from the other day, this one is actually in full English, so that's pretty nice. And this time there is a lot of interesting details to talk about with this interview, so we have quite a few things to highlight here. First of all, Tsuchiya confirms that Mega Man 0 and ZX Legacy Collection is being developed by the same team who worked on the Mega Man X Legacy Collection. They started development a short time after the X Legacy Collection was released, which makes a lot of sense as both the 0 and ZX Legacy Collection and the X Legacy Collection share a lot of the same features and visual design philosophies. That would mean it took them about 13 months from when the X Legacy Collection was initially released to the announcement of the 0 and ZX Legacy Collection, and about 18 to 19 months to get this game out the door from the start of development. So when this game does get out the door, and this team decides to move on to another collection, like say Battle Network or Legends, we might be able to expect a similar time frame for when such a collection might be announced. Here's another interesting one. Tsuchiya was asked how the team came up with the idea for Z-Chaser mode. Z-Chaser mode being the new speedrunning mode that's exclusive to Mega Man 0 and ZX Legacy Collection, where you compete against times online, or give a friend a controller and go head to head locally. Anyway, Tsuchiya had this to say. In the midst of brainstorming new game mode ideas, we saw a video of a Mega Man speedrun tournament on YouTube. When we saw the participants' serious expressions and their passionate fans supporting them, we wondered if there was a way to recreate this type of excitement for people at home. That's how Z-Chaser mode was born. Later on in the interview, he talks about the fans once again when they were asked which tracks would make it into the 10 Reploid Remixes pre-order DLC. He says, "Our biggest point of reference was the Mega Man community. We did a good amount of research on Mega Man fan sites and video game music sites. This helped us identify songs that are well known and popular among the community. We also selected tracks from memorable in-game scenes. All the Reploid Remix tracks included in the music player were composed and arranged by staff who worked on past Mega Man games. So keeping their genre specialties in mind, we also selected songs that would allow them to create remixes that fans would enjoy." So if there was ever any doubt that Capcom listens to the fans, this interview proves it right here. They clearly did their research in how the fans interact with the Mega Man franchise, specifically the 0 and ZX games in this case, when they were thinking of new game modes, and it's literally just watching a speedrunning tournament on YouTube that led to the creation of Z-Chaser mode. Because they saw that people sure do love their Zero speedruns. They even go as far as to look up fan sites and video game music sites to find out what are the most popular songs to include for remixes. And this isn't even remotely the only instance we've seen of the Mega Man developers looking back on what the fans have said about their games. We talked about a couple years ago how they were scouring message boards, fan sites, and everything to see the opinions on the Mega Man Classic and X series when they were developing Mega Man 11. The developers really do care about what the fans have to say, and I just have to thank them for listening to us and incorporating fan feedback into their games. It's really awesome to see. It sure makes one proud to be part of this community. Speaking of listening to what fans had to say, Siliconera also asked Mr. Tsuchiya about the delay of Mega Man 0 and ZX Legacy Collection, where it was pushed from January to February, apparently due to bad bugs that they had to fix. Siliconera themselves mentioned how, in response to the delay, fans came forward to thank the team, saying they understand and don't mind, and were generally okay with waiting for the developer to deliver the game when they felt it was ready. A rushed product is forever bad and all that jazz. Apparently the video announcing the delay didn't even have any dislikes for quite some time. But how did the guys at Capcom feel about it? Tsuchiya responds, "At first, I was worried that fans would be disappointed by or make harsh comments about the news of the delay. However, the Mega Man Zero and ZX Legacy Collection team is deeply grateful for the warm words of support we received in response to the announcement. Postponing the game's release was a difficult decision to make, but we decided to do so to ensure that we could release the most satisfying game possible. The fans' kind messages are truly heartwarming. We hope that Mega Man Zero and ZX Legacy Collection becomes a game that you can hold on to for years to come. Regarding the YouTube video announcement, this was a request from the Mega Man team at Capcom USA. We don't typically take this kind of approach in Japan, so we were a bit skeptical about the idea. However, it seems our sentiments reached the Mega Man community through this video, and we're glad that we agreed to create it. For this reason, we would also like to express our appreciation to the Mega Man team at Capcom USA for their suggestion. We'd love for you to continue to share your thoughts on Capcom Unity and Capcom USA's official Mega Man social media accounts. Thank you again for your kindness and support, everyone. Yeah, I gotta say, I agree. That was a really good call on Capcom USA's part to make that YouTube video. The sentiment that they wanted to create a better game and not rush it out really shone through in that video, and the fan reaction, from what I saw too, was indeed very positive. I don't think I saw anyone complaining about the delay, which is a really refreshing sight to see. It probably helped that it was only a 1 month delay rather than, say, a half a year or something, but still, that was a really cool moment for the Mega Man community. Makes me proud once again. Backing up a bit in the interview, they do talk about some of the features in the Mega Man Zero and ZX Legacy Collection, such as the 03 bonus cards, all the e-reader stuff, and the 03 and 4 Plus mode, which I believe in the English games is referred to as Ultimate mode. Tsuchiya talks about how they wanted to make this collection the definitive one, including all the extra features and special modes that weren't available in the original releases because they required like the e-reader and other special hardware that didn't exactly come out globally. So that's some good stuff right there. Then Tsuchiya talks about how the reason why they decided to make Z Chaser mode is because fans enjoyed X Challenge mode. So from there, they gathered that we're willing to try out new modes in addition to the past games, so they wanted to throw in a little extra bonus in there to incentivize us to buy the collection, which is a good idea. I will say X Challenge was pretty interesting, but it did have its share of problems, like easy mode being too easy and normal mode being too hard. But Z Chaser mode is a completely different concept, so whatever. You might also remember that they're going to make unlocking the minigames in each of the games a lot easier than before, and Tsuchiya was asked which one is your favorite minigame. He says it's the energy converter from Mega Man ZX. He can play it without putting too much thought into it, plus it helps a lot with relieving stress from work. Nice one. But the most interesting part about the feature section is when they're talking about the gallery for the collection. Tsuchiya says, we basically decided to put all the Mega Man Zero and ZX art remaining in our company library into the collection's gallery. However, we continued to stumble across art that wasn't in our company library, so we kept adding art up until right before we finished up the development. Because of this, you will find some Mega Man Zero art pieces in the gallery that weren't included in 2008's Mega Man Zero Official Complete Works art book. There aren't any published art books for the Mega Man ZX series, so we think that the Mega Man Zero and ZX Legacy Collection's gallery is pretty special. And you know, he's right folks, there was never a ZX Official Complete Works book. So for sure, there's going to be a lot of never before seen pieces of artwork and development documents in that gallery for the Zero and ZX Legacy Collection. That's on top of the fact that there's going to be even more Zero artwork that wasn't in the Official Complete Works book for that one. Yeah, the gallery is shaping up to be pretty hype. The question remains is whether we will find anything in there that might hint at a future game. I don't know, probably not, but one can dream at least. That pretty much does it for our highlights of this interview though. Thank you to Siliconera for doing this interview because it was really good. I just love how anytime Tsuchiya is put on the spotlight to talk about Mega Man, he always goes back to the fans constantly, saying we listen to the fans' feedback on this part, or we appreciate the fans for this, or we came up with this idea because we watched a YouTube video. A lot of this stuff is really amazing to know, and I cannot stress enough how cool it is that Capcom actually listens to the fans. Mega Man Zero and ZX Legacy Collection will come out finally on February 25th, 2020, which means we're less than a month away from that. Are you excited for this collection? And is this going to be your first time playing the Zero or ZX series? What are you going to do first when you get into the game? Myself, I'm probably going to check the gallery first and then try out the ZX stuff like the HD cutscenes and voice acting. Now we do have another Zero and ZX related announcement to talk about, and that is the fact that Rockman Unity has revealed more details on the Rockman Zero and ZX Soundbox, including this new piece of cover art featuring Zero, Vince, and Gray, I presume. Could also be their female counterparts, but I'm going to assume they're going with the male protagonist in this case. It's funny that when you look at the three, they are progressively opening their mouth. Otherwise, I give it a ZZ rating. Anyway, here are all the details you need to know, courtesy of Rockman Corner compiling it all. The Soundbox will be out on March 25th for about $80 US. There's going to be 208 tracks in total across 6 CDs. And like we talked about before, all of these are going to be the uncompressed versions of each of these tracks, which is a first for Rockman 04 and the ZX series. There will also be 9 new tracks included in the collection, which as we expected are indeed from the Mega Man Zero and ZX Legacy collection. We don't know exactly which tracks those are, but it is interesting that they said 9 tracks when the Reploid Remixes DLC is supposed to have 10 tracks. Maybe the Reploid Remixes won't be in the Soundbox at all, and instead they're just taking tracks from the original soundtrack for the collection, like Reboot for example, the main theme. We'll have to wait and see on that. The Soundbox is also going to include a 16-page booklet. In addition to the new artwork for the Soundbox, which is by series artist Toyo Nakayama, he's also going to be doing new pieces for each of the CD cases. So that's pretty epic. If you want to go ahead and pick up this Soundbox for yourself, there are pre-orders up on websites such as Amazon Japan, which I would recommend going through. And if you get it through Amazon Japan, you do get a special jacket with the Soundbox, but we don't know what it looks like yet. I'll have a link to the description below if you want to check out the Amazon Japan listing for the Soundbox. Now the last piece of merchandise news we have today is the follow-up on the First 4 Figures Mega Man 11 statue live stream that occurred a few days ago. First we have a new trailer showing off the statue in all of its glory. It looks pretty shiny and amazing, though the face could be a lot better. Anyway, you have 3 versions of the resin statue to pick from. We're not going to hear more on the PVC version of the statue until the end of this year. Which, by the way, I should mention that the resin statue is going to be coming out in Q1 2021. Yeah, not until next year. The most premium version of the statue is called the Definitive Edition. It comes with the statue itself, battle damage weathering effect to Mega Man's armor and the base, LED functions for the helmet, Mega Buster, boots, explosion effect, and base. It also comes with a little Metar and a missile from Impact Man stage, and also an authentication card. Now, take a deep breath folks, here it comes. The suggested retail price of this Mega Man 11 statue is $499.99. 500 smackaroonies. Bam. Yeah, this statue is not cheap by any stretch of the imagination, which is honestly the usual for First 4 Figures. They're not really known for making cheap stuff. At the very least, if you pre-order before February 10th this year, you will get a 10% early bird discount, which brings down the price to $450 plus shipping. That's not a huge improvement though. Well, how about the other versions? The next step down is the exclusive version. You get most of the stuff, except you lose the Metar and the missile. That's going to be $430 or $386.99 plus shipping if you do the early bird discount. Then you have the standard edition that loses the Metar, missile, and the lighting effects, so it's just a basic statue. But for some reason, this one is exactly the same price as the exclusive edition at $430 or $386.99 with the early bird discount, so you may as well just get the exclusive edition. All in all, the statue does look pretty good, aside from the face, but in my personal opinion, I can't justify paying that much for this statue. That is certainly way out of my budget. But what about you guys? Do you like the statue, and would you actually pay up, or have you already pre-ordered this? If you want to pre-order this yourself, I'll have links to all of that in the description below, as well as the website for the first 4 figures of Mega Man 11 statue. And be sure to tell us what you think about it in the comment section below. That's all for today's Mega News though. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and for more on Mega Man 0 and ZX Legacy Collection, Mega Man merchandise, and all things Blue Bomber, stay tuned to ShadowRockZX. Also, don't forget our Mega Man X Marathon event that's going to be for charity supporting the Prevent Cancer Foundation. Is happening this Saturday at 12 p.m. Central Time. It's going to be a 2-day event, so that means there's going to be a stream on Sunday too at the same time. Thank you again, and until next time, rock on. Have yourselves a great day.